with second-year libero Hayley Brookes. Hayley, obviously incredible comeback win tonight. Let's get your thoughts on tonight's game.
Well, we struggled to find our kind of groove in the first two sets, but we have a lot of grit. We came back. We knew how to play our game, and we kind of went back to that and be able to push it through.
So fantastic win last night. Obviously, you guys started a little flat tonight. Was
Yeah.
there something the coach or the coaching staff said after that second set that kind of rallied the girls together?
Yeah, just we know how to compete. We play our game. We're obviously really good at what we do. We just had to go back to our basics and just play our heart out.
Yeah, and I guess in terms of just build off what Michael from Point and Sports, just to build off kind of what you're saying in terms of kind of certain things that the team kind of improved on as the kind of game went along. In terms of,
Like specific skills.
in terms of the execution or certain areas that you're executing.
I think first of all our energy was kind of lacking in the first two, but with like the help of our gym and our home, we were able to build it back up. We were able to like really focus on what we know, and that the energy it really helped in the last three.
I'm curious, kind of like when you have a comeback like that, where you win 3 sets in a row. Is there like a certain momentum, or is that more just kind of point by point kind of thing? Or how's that like?
Point for sure. Like you have momentum, but you can easily lose it in like you have a bad hit, bad whatever. Just focusing on our team and how we play and leaning on each other is just how you comes back.
And I guess in terms of talking your head coach Tim yesterday, you mentioned resilience kind of being one of the key themes. I guess even like with tonight, for example, like what's that kind of even in the game, like what's that kind of feeling like in terms of being resilient in terms of like that kind of deep down?
It's when things get tough, you always get right back up. You don't give up. You know our game. Basically that. You just never give up.
And finally, for me, with both wins tonight, Waterloo's win over Nipissing today, you guys find yourselves in third place in the OUA. Is this where you and your teammates expected to be at this point in the season?
Honestly, I don't really know where we expect to be. We want to win. We want to play our hearts out. We want to be at the top. We still have a long way to go, so I guess just improving every step of the way will help.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Cool. All right, we are here with second-year outside hitter Sully Sundara. Sully, really entertaining 2 dogfights against a really good team on that other side. Take us through what you felt the team did well this weekend to get those 2 wins.
It's hard to pinpoint one thing, but I think just our mentality coming into the weekend, Queens, it's always been a rival school. They're a great team. Clearly, like, we match up very, very well. They have a lot of big players, and they're nationally ranked. I think we just wanted to go in and just play how we play. Doesn't matter who's on the other side of the court, just kind of doing our thing, everything that we've been working on all season. And I think we did that very well, just like sticking to who we are and playing just our hearts out, yeah.
So after film review this week, was there a specific game plan going into tonight or this weekend?
Not necessarily like Queens specific, but we've just been working on more shot making and in certain certain situations when we're like stuck and we don't have an approach when we're attacking, hitting more shots instead of just in the heart of the block. So basically just like shot selection. I think we did a lot better this weekend. Yeah.
And then just in terms of you guys winning the last 3 sets, in terms of overall, what do you feel kind of was the key factors to close out and win those sets?
I think it depends on each person. I know personally I was just thinking like this is the last game of the season, of the semester. And, we have nothing after this, no competition, we don't have too many practices, so just leaving it all on the court, trying our best, and then working through all the hard and tiring times. So just leaving it all on the court because there's nothing left. This is our last game of semester 1, and we have like some rest time after this, so we could go hard, leave everything out on the court.
And then just to kind of follow what I was asking about that resilience aspect. Like how's that kind of been like kind of being how's that like kind of being built up kind of in practices throughout the week kind of being into games like this?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah. I don't know. I think in our practices we bring a lot of competition. We obviously play mini games like to 25 to see who wins, and then if we make unforced errors, we lose some points, and then if we do something that we've been working on like a back row attack or like a middle attack, we'll get bonus too. So it's just really trying to add a little bit of pressure in practice. Obviously nothing mimics a game type of pressure, but we find little ways to put pressure on ourselves and then work through these when you're down but you want to win this mini game. So just little things like that. Yeah.
And then just this following up there in terms of, you mentioned that game experience, even in terms of like how much were you and your teammates able to even draw on last night's game against Queens or the 5-state game against Western, in terms of like how much were you able to draw upon like previous games this season in the moment?
Wait, I don't think I understand the question.
So yeah, in terms of sorry.
No worries.
In terms of, yes, I'm just curious, right? Because you mentioned kind of that game experience, right? In terms of, like how much are you able to kind of draw upon in terms of like previous games even this season, in terms of being in a close situation against a Queens or Western, for example, to help you tonight? In terms of what are you able to draw from that?
Yeah.
Or how much are you able to draw from that? I guess.
I think I just reflect, like if we're in a timeout or quickly between points, just how I felt in the moment against Western. That was our first like big match against, again, another rival school that we lost to last year. And I find I just play very free, and in the moment I stick to who I am as a player, which I would say is aggressive. And I don't shy away from any, pressure put on me or any like targeting from the other team if they're serving me or like putting a double block on me. It's kind of just like going back to that place, and like it's kind of like a flow state, just that feeling where it's like I know I could pass this ball. If the set comes to me, I'll do X, Y, or Z, just like things like that.
And lastly, in terms of Bill Landing mentioned the flow state. Do you feel there's a notable difference kind of between your flow state kind of like this year even compared to last year?
Yeah, I think something that I worked on a lot over the course of like my first season and into now is just a lot more confidence in myself. I wasn't very confident last year in terms of my passing and having trust in myself and my shot selection, but I think this year it's been a work in progress. I think it's been the best this weekend, but just having faith in like all the hours that I put in and all the little techniques that I've been working on in like my passing or my attacking and my serving. So just like having trust in the process and knowing that I can pass and I can hit, I can serve, and just, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Sully.
All right, we're here with head coach Tim Louks. Coach, obviously not the start you and the team would have wanted tonight. Came on a little bit flat, as a couple of your players mentioned there. But going down 2-0, incredible comeback, great crowd tonight to kind of help push you through there. Let's get your thoughts on tonight's game.
It's interesting when a plan comes together, but it took a while for us to get on the plan, right? We knew we would probably not have the same jump that we had yesterday, right? Certainly more difficult to find some of those windows we were serving into a little bit at the beginning, which required some adjustments. And the word for the match weekend was solutions, finding solutions against a very good team. It's something that in moving along our practice venue, if we can create that solution building, rather than handing answers all the time, it's putting athletes in a circumstance where if you can work your way out and find a solution, ideally, right, that level, we always talk about that communication component. Well, if you're finding solutions, something has to happen to get that communication rolling a little bit. And part of that is, right, the whole concept of looking, seeing, and then deciding. So the look part is a physical motion of some type. Then, in the looking action, what are you seeing? What is it? What information are you seeing? And then what kind of decisions can we make out of that? So if practice, we kind of put in place some, if this, then you have these things. And I think that Sully alluded to that a little bit in her post game here. that's what practice this week was a little bit about, okay, given that, maybe this is something that we'll consider as we're going forward. So it was nice to see, that kind of, it didn't really disappear in set 1 and 2. Credit due, right? Queens is good squad, and they're going to come back and do the things and pass a little better and all those kinds of things. And I think one of their athletes at one point was in the 700 passing area, which is pretty elite company, and we kind of had to get off that a little bit and then onto something else. So it was nice to see that start to shift a little bit as we went on.
So it felt like you were definitely in those first 2 sets, weren't getting the results you wanted. How important is it for the team to stick with a plan when you're not getting the results? And is tonight a valuable lesson in kind of sticking with the game?
We had some foundations going in, but our part of our plan, if you would, is to have that flexibility for a shift, right? Particularly when you're blocking and defending. We can attack in certain spaces, but we have to pass, right? In order to do that, we have to defend in order to do that. Can we make it more difficult on our opponent by moving our block pattern a little bit, maybe moving our defensive alignments a little bit? I think that's what you saw, Jay, a little bit in that regard. It was taking that end of it and then just trying to stay the course a little bit, just a little bit, and then we waited. Some would say maybe a little bit too long in regards to that, but you don't have control of that situation. And I thought we turned the corner a little bit in 3 and then put the pedal down in 4.
So another strong weekend from Sully, 21 kills last night, another 19 tonight. She had 3 blocks tonight as well. Sits second in the conference in kills per set. What's been clicking so far in your offense this year that's kind of allowed her and those around her to succeed?
It's a good one, because in system, Sully's going to draw lots of attention, and so going fast into 2 blocks doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So we've tried to kind of arm her with a few things that we're hopefully going to see as we cross into the new year. Out of system, she's such a good athlete. Right? If we're taking or doing, or we can avoid, being aced, if you would, and get up 1s and 2s. She's pretty creative when she gets high in the air, and now she's added a short roll, and she's added, third. It's just an evolution of some of that stuff. We've got work to do in system. We have work to do in system. We have we still have to create more threats to get that attention off her a little bit. But those kinds of numbers there's going to be lots of attention. I think it's going to be hard to get rid of completely. But practice is what we've been doing, and we're seeing others contribute. So we'll see if that. If we can kind of stay that course going into the new year. Plus, we have a couple ads that we're going to keep close to the vest as we go. So.
Yeah, and Tim, just to follow up on what you're saying earlier about that process, finding solutions in terms of what that, how the communications in terms of that within the game, in terms of between the athletes themselves, between the coaching staff and the athletes, in terms of what that communication process is kind of.
Sure. Well, if I can give you the closest one that comes to mind, and that's the last 5 points of the match, right? There was a specific scenario happening in front of us, right? They were trying to get to that right side attack for a particular. They saw something. They were trying to get to that right side attack, and when you go back over the film, you'll see very clearly that they're going to do that regardless. They have what they want there and matchups and whatnot, and they're going to try and get that. So having seen that, we put the 2 ball short, which is the serve over top of the net, right in that front zone area to kind of jam up the works. And then we just stayed with it, and it becomes the chess match. So the solution was, we're going to try and do that. We're going to serve that. I was waiting for the next sort of, this is how we're going to get out of that situation. And we were just, I think, fortunate and lucky is a combination of things there, that they kind of stayed the course, and they made a hitting error out of it, and we got a block out of it, and we made 2 digs out of it. So that's an idea of a solution given scenario that's happening in front of you. If you can't serve that 2 ball short, it may not be open to you. You might not be able to get that simply just because you don't have a capacity to do that. I think our players, particularly in some regards, around serving have real good capacity right around the court in terms of trying to create some pressure situations.
Yeah, because I mean, just building off that last step, but in terms of like, even like in a game like this, right? Like how often do you find like the players themselves are able to recognize that kind of themselves kind of on the court? How much of that is kind of reiterated to timeout situation or when they're on the bench kind of thing?
Ideally, it's both, Mike. We often get into this and how much impact should a coach have? And if we look around the sporting world, there's certain I'll call it at rest moments where you can provide some guidance, and that's it. Once the ball's in play, right, we've got to trust in our players to make solutions built on what they see, and that's a little bit of both, right? They picked up on it and kind of said, hey, can we adjust this block pattern? Do we need to adjust this block pattern if we're going to serve in that space, and if they're going to stay the course, right? So it just promotes it, and we don't go all in all the time. We're letting the players decide and analyze, and that creates a communication-rich environment to hopefully help them when they're in the middle of the chaos, right? So
you head into the break having won 4 straight. A month off here. What does the team need to do to maintain focus, come out strong in the second half? I know you've got Brock, U of T, Waterloo on the back end. It's not going to get easier after the holidays.
No.
So how do you and the team maintain focus over such a long period break in mid-season?
Well, it's to be tried for the first time probably in our program history is we have a bye in the first week of play when we return. We're the only team in the conference that has a bye, so we don't play at all. And if we tried to, we wouldn't be able to play anybody because everyone's playing. So being off to the 13th, we can actually shut down the volleyball a little bit over the period between Christmas and New Year's. And we can reload. And ideally, physically, we'll be rested and recovered and on a path of almost like a mini camp through there. And when we reattach them to the volleyball and their teammates, I'm looking for some excitement. More than anything, I'm looking for, so rather than train to really, we're back January 2, we don't play again for 12 days. So the best team currently in the conference. So maybe a little bit more unorthodox process on this, but we'll begin and reattach on the 2nd for the 13th. The rest will be physical. Resting, recovering. We've got, Maddie obviously went down with an ankle, and hopefully that's reasonable. We've got lots of time to recover that. We've got 2 coming off ankles. We haven't, first time in weeks, I've actually listed 14 people on the game sheet. So hopefully that will help with that kind of, again, we'll make it fortuitous. We'll believe that it's of a good thing at this stage of this situation. That's the best you can do.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Tim.
Thanks, Faz.